Are you ready to make the tastiest lasagna you've ever had?
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today on Cook and Bake with Samir. Today, we are going to do a special meal for you, and what we are doing is lasagna with white and tomato sauce. So, with bechamel and tomato sauce at the same time. We're also going to use ground beef in there. What I'm starting with here is I have water boiling over here, and I'm going to drop my tomatoes because I need to peel them. I have 3 pounds of Roma tomatoes that I've already scored, ready to be dropped in. I'll drop them in for about a minute and a half. Take them out, put them in some cold water real quick so I don't burn my hands while I'm peeling them. And then I will finally dice them or chop them, and then we'll go from there. We'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to make homemade tomato sauce for it. Now, if this is a little difficult for you, you don't want to do the homemade tomato sauce, you for this amount of tomatoes and what we're doing, you will need 2 cans of the 24, 28 ounce of the peeled tomatoes. Or you can get the chopped tomatoes if you don't want to chop those peeled, the whole ones. So that's an option for you. And we'll come back in a minute. We'll show you how we're peeling and we're chopping, and we're going from there. See you soon. Now our tomatoes have been here for a minute and a half. So I have some cold water here. If you want to put ice, you could. I'm not going to. Really, you don't need to, but the main purpose is for them to really cool off so you don't burn your hand. They're already, as you could see, they're already wanting to peel. They're starting to peel, and that's what we want. And look at that. And I'll show you here in a second how we're going to peel them, and I'll cut one of them for you in front of you, and then we'll keep moving with what we're doing. Here we go. All right, they're ready here. Yeah, they cool off quickly. It's not. See, look how very quickly they peel just by themselves. Look at that, and beautiful here. Look at that here. Okay, let me cut one of them up for you. I know you've seen me do this before in other videos, like the green beans and things like that. We gotta take the core out. So, and also save the juices, by the way, for the tomatoes. Do not throw them out. So that's why I kind of turned my board around to have the edges continue to hold. What I need to do is I really need to chop them small. So here, let me, if I need to move those out of the way. There we go. So we're cutting them into what this is about half an inch in size. And for the Roma tomatoes, you don't have to go sideways too much because they're already not very thick like the other steak tomatoes or the other type of tomatoes. Okay, I'm going to continue doing these, and then we'll come back to our next step in making our tomato sauce for our delicious and beautiful lasagna. I diced my tomatoes, chopped all our fresh herbs for our tomato sauce. We'll go through the ingredients as we're going through it right now, and also I'll give you suggestions of what you can substitute for the fresh ingredients that I have. But first, let's start with I have the saute pan here already warmed up, and we're going to add our 1/3 cup of olive oil. We need to heat it up for a couple minutes. It's all depending on your pan. I mean, some If your pan doesn't heat up very quickly, you might need 3 minutes, 4 minutes. And I've already chopped. Um, it's about a cup and a quarter. It's a medium-sized onion. They're already chopped over here that I'm going to put, and we're going to saute them until they become translucent. I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoon of salt. But I'm also, we're going to be adding 3 cloves of garlic. But because the clove of garlic, when I was mushing it, I had a 1/2 teaspoon of salt added to it to make it easier to smush over there. So let me see here. Here, you want to test it? Yeah, it's good. It's ready. Be careful there when you're putting it in, especially in case you had water in the onions. You don't want to put it in there and get burned from it. And I have it right now on medium heat for the onions. And we're going to saute them for probably about, it might end up being about 5 minutes until they become translucent. But I want to, in about a minute or two, minute and a half to two, I'm going to add the salt. I need them to sweat in the oil. That's the purpose of also adding the salt right now and later. So all that sweetness from the onion will come out into the pan. And as I said, 1.5 teaspoon of salt here. We're adding because we had already, so technically 2 teaspoons, but we already used 1/2 teaspoon with the garlic. And for the bechamel sauce, what I want you to do is right when you start working on the tomatoes, before you actually begin working on the tomatoes, before you even wash them, take out 4 cups of milk and put them in a container and set them on the side outside the refrigerator. We need them for the bechamel sauce at room temperature. Now, if you forget to do that, you need to warm them up a little bit. And if you overwarm them up, it's okay. It's not going to hurt the recipe anything, but at least they need to be at room temperature. So when we're doing the bechamel sauce, you'll see the won't lump up while we're working on it. Here we're just uh, mixing in the salt and the reason I'm using the saute pan and not the Dutch oven on this because it's a big quantity and I need them to dry up a little bit, the tomato sauce, because we're going to have them in the meat, we're going to have it in the lasagna. We don't want watery sauce in there. And you'll see right now, we'll talk a little bit also about the tomato sauce itself, what you can use it for, with all the herbs that we're going to be having in there. Right now, today, we're dicing everything, but if you needed to use the exact same sauce for pizza or for any other, if you really wanted it creamy, there are two things. You can put it in the blender after they're done, or you can use the immersion blender as well. And I've done it both ways. I use this sauce for pizza. For the pizza sauce, I usually don't put the onions in there. Definitely not. You don't want to put the onions. But so you can use it again for other spaghetti sauce. But I'm making it chunky today, and we're going to have the beef. You'll see, we're going to cook the beef stovetop first, get it all cooked very well. And also for the lasagna, I'm not using instant bake lasagna. I'm going to use the regular lasagna, and I prefer it that way better. And instead of using the no bake, what we do is when we cook it for the lasagna, let's say that your package says 7 to 8 minutes, at least cook it 3 minutes less than what you're supposed to. We need it al dente so we can, so while it's cooking, when it comes out, it still has that beautiful texture. It's not all mushy when you're eating the lasagna. Look at the beautiful onions. You could see how they become translucent in color. And we don't want them to get more than this right now because they're going to be continuing to cook. And here I have 3 cloves of garlic that I've already smushed before. And as I mentioned, they have also about half a teaspoon of salt in there. And we're going to mix them in there and have them cook with the onions for about a minute. They don't need more than that because we just want them to sweat a little bit together with the onions. That will also get rid of the strong raw garlicky taste as well. This is great. It's a great aroma over here with the garlic and the onions right now. Oh, can you smell that? Oh, nice, nice. Let's see here. There we go. And in a minute, I'm going to, well, technically 30 seconds, figure of speech the minute. I'm going to bring our tomatoes here. Let me show them to you. I'll bring them over. Here are the tomatoes that I diced by hand and with all their juices there. There, you see, beautiful. Yep, it was very, very. I mean, it's again, if you're not going to be able to, you don't want to get 3 pounds of tomatoes and do it like this. You can buy the two 24-ounce, 28-ounce, it's whatever they have out there, cans of diced tomatoes, chopped tomatoes. If you get the whole tomatoes, you have to chop them yourself. The whole peeled ones that they are canned, but. You can also use the tomato juice. Sometimes they'll sell them where they're already really blended in there. You could use that as well. So there are a lot of options for you to use. So the garlic has been in there for a minute. Now we're adding our tomatoes. Oh, look at that sauce. Look at that. This is going to be yum, yum, yum. Beautiful, beautiful. This is going to be so tasty. But now we haven't even started adding our fresh herbs. So with the herbs, I am adding fresh herbs from the garden where I chopped them myself. And these aren't dry, these are literally fresh. If you are purchasing Italian herbs, for example, I would use 2 tablespoons of mixed Italian herbs and on top of that, 1 tablespoon of oregano. I know the mixed Italian herbs have oregano in it, but we need more oregano. So what I have here, I have 1.5 tablespoon of fresh oregano and 1.5. I'm sorry, this is half a teaspoon of rosemary. I did not label my containers. This is the 1.5 tablespoon of thyme, and a little bit I'm going to add also finely chopped. I first chiffoned them and then I chopped them some more of basil, fresh basils. But again, the Italian herbs will have all those in there. So, and again, with the reason the dry ingredients we're using less because they a little bit more concentration in the amount of um, ingredients compared to the fresh. Now here, as you see, and while I was chopping the tomatoes, by the way, If you've seen my green beans recipe, when I'm using the fresh tomatoes, we take these out, and I just saw one here that I missed before. This is from the core from inside, so I'm just going to take it out. And when you're cutting them, if you find some that are white like this, take it out. If you don't take it out, it's not going to hurt anything. But I like to do that. And now I'm going to turn the heat to high because I want them to start um to get to a simmer. And right now also I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of sugar. There we go, to our tomato sauce here. The sugar is an important ingredient within the Italian tomato sauce family. It gives it a little bit more of that sweetness. And the reason we're using Roma tomatoes, now if you don't have Roma tomatoes and you use the regular ones, it's okay. But the reason we're using the Roma tomatoes, they're not as tart, or I mean tart or acidity. They don't have as much acidity as the other tomatoes might. So because with the Italian, as you see, we concentrate on the seasoning and adding all these herbs in there. Oh, can you see all these fresh herbs? I know I could see them with my, looking at them. But can you see all these little green things? It's beautiful. And oh, the aromas, it's amazing. It is amazing. It's starting to boil here. Let me see. I think I'm going to go ahead and add my. They were technically 7 or 8 large ones of I'm sorry, fresh basil. Now, if you don't have the fresh basil, if you have dried basil, you want to add another tablespoon of this. It's okay. If you don't, the ingredients I gave you are good because they already have the basil in the Italian seasoning. Oh, this is nice. This is beautiful. And what we're going to do is I'm going to leave it uncovered. After it starts boiling, I'm going to lower it, which is starting right now, but I'm going to lower the heat to low, and I'm going to let it simmer for about an hour and a half. And during that time, we'll start working on our bechamel sauce. And when we're done with our bechamel sauce, we will work on our meat, our ground beef. And when we're done with everything, we will get our lasagna boiling, get it ready, and we'll start assembling the pan. We're going to use 9 by 13 inch pan, by the way. And we'll show you for how long to cook it and the oven temperature and everything. So it does take a little bit of time, and I'll be honest with you. So for the lasagna, from beginning to end, if you're using the fresh tomatoes, it will be about uh, 2 hours of getting everything ready. Um 2.5 hours with the cooking, but 2 hours assembling because the tomatoes are doing it cooking on their own. So if uh, you will chop about a half hour of time if you're using canned tomatoes or if you're using anything else. But as you know me, I like to use the fresh tomatoes, fresh herbs. It makes a difference. But if we don't have it, if we have to, if you and you really don't want to spend that time doing that, you can use the canned ones. All right, we'll come back soon. We'll show you how we'll do our bechamel sauce. As I said earlier, we're going to let these simmer for about 1.5 hours. They've been about an hour right now, and I moved them to a different stove area because I need to use this area here. And you can see how they've become just a little bit on the they're starting to get to become grouped together. And I also want to right now add 1 teaspoon of pepper. We could have added earlier. I just want to add it a little bit later. uh, it just so I wanted the herbs first to mix together and uh, flavor the tomatoes that are in there. So that's the purpose. But you could add the pepper right at the beginning. It's not going to hurt anything. And when I moved it here, because this is a little bit different uh, stove area, I'm moving it a little bit higher than low. It's like 1/3 past low, not halfway between low and medium low, just so you know. And it'll have about an hour to go. We'll come back in an hour and take a look at this. But here, what I'm going to start right now on is our bechamel sauce. And as I mentioned before, I had 4 cups of milk that I took them out when I started working on the tomatoes so they can get to room temperature. But first, what we're going to start with here, I have the butter at room temperature, but if you forgot to take it out, it's okay. We're going to add a total of 5 tablespoons of butter. What we want to do is melt it, not boil it or anything like this. We need it to melt it. And then after it melts, we're going to add uh, half a cup of flour. And then after the flour we'll start adding the milk. And I also today, with the 4 cups of milk, I wanted to do something special. So I surprise to the camera crew. I am adding. I put 3.5 cups of milk, whole milk, by the way, and half a cup of heavy whipping cream. So I wanted a little bit creamier today. So this is what our butter here is coming nice. I have our flour here. And then after that, we will add about a quarter teaspoon of salt, about a quarter teaspoon of white pepper. I'm not going to use black pepper here. You can if you want. The white pepper actually has a stronger tang to it than the black pepper. And then you don't have those little blacks showing in there. That's a trick to use with white sauce if you have white pepper. If you don't, it's okay to use the black pepper. And I'm also going to freshly grate some nutmeg in there. I have some dried fresh nutmeg. We're gonna grate about a quarter teaspoon in there as well in the bechamel sauce. So there, our butter is ready for us. And I'm gonna just turn it down a little bit here. We're gonna put half a cup in there. There we go. All right. And what we need to do is stir it right away. You know, because we don't want lumps. We want to turn it into a creamy uh, mixture. Probably it'll take about 3 to 4 minutes. What we're doing here is we're getting rid. I have it right now, medium low. I'm sorry, I have it at medium low. And what we want to do is get the raw flour taste out. So we don't taste it while we're eating. And that's part of the secret of making the bechamel sauce, where you feel you want to just take spoons of it and eat it. Again, this is we're going to do this for about a couple minutes, and then we'll add the milk slowly, our room temperature milk in here. You could see our flour butter mixture. It's really it's creamy. Uh, it's almost like a pudding. So just so you know, and again, I kept stirring it the whole time. Really, about 2 minutes, 2.5 from the time I put the flour in there. Now I'm going to start adding our milk And again, like I mentioned, I put a half a cup. I put 3.5 cups of milk, half a cup of heavy cream. But you can put just the 4 cups of milk if this is what you desire. Um and the reason I'm doing it this way, I want to add them slowly. I want to mix them together. I'm going to actually get the whisk in a minute and use the whisk for them. And the reason I'm using the cup is because I did receive some requests. I know I could pour it from here a little bit at a time, but I've had some of our viewers that said they're having some issues where they're spilling and things like this. So there's a solution. You can go like this and do it this way. So we want to keep mixing here. Again, I'm going to switch to a whisk. There we go. There, it just it's. If I need to, I'll get back to this one. There we go. Okay, time to add the second cup. And what was it? About 30 seconds, I think we had it. We had the first cup in there. We just don't try not to take it become lumpy. And if it becomes lumpy with you, it's okay. It'll dissolve. But we just want to keep moving the milk and the butter and the whole mixture. See how they're becoming creamy there with the bechamel, turning it into a bechamel sauce. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Very, very nice. Very nice. Coming together really well. See how adding it slowly in there, we are um, there. This is good. All right. This is a cup measure that I'm using kind of in here. There. I feel like I need a third hand here. There we go. Yeah. If I had a non-stick, I would use the other. If I had a non-stick pan, I would have used a different kind of whisk. But we don't want to scratch the surface. Even though you could, they say we're able to on these. But I like to. There, it's coming together beautifully here. This will end up cooking probably about 5 to 7 minutes after we're done adding everything. And I have it on medium low. So just as a reminder, this is looking good here. All right, I'll add one more and then I'll just pour the rest in there. I mean, technically, this is really the right way to do it, as you're pouring it slowly and stirring at the same time. I was just trying to show you the different ways so you don't think it's too difficult. Honestly, the lasagna is not really difficult. Just you prep all these things together. You could prep this ahead of time or the day before if you want to. Uh, have them in the fridge. You don't need to warm them up because we need everything at room temperature when we start putting them over the lasagna. So if you're thinking, let's say, oh, one evening you want somebody to come over and have some lasagna, you can prep everything the day before and just make it, technically put it together about an hour before you start going, before you go to the where you're going. So that's, oh, this is nice. This is really good. This is going to be so yummy. And it's all homemade, no artificial stuff. And yes, we have the butter, the 5 tablespoons, and I'm making it a little creamier here. But this is what the bechamel sauce is all about. There, see, look, nothing became lumpy. Everything is good. I'm not. You don't keep stirring it the whole time. Just at the beginning here, let me add the salt, the little pepper here, and as I said, about a quarter teaspoon of salt. I'm going to put a quarter teaspoon of white pepper there, and our about quarter teaspoon of fresh nutmeg here. It has, oh, the nutmeg has it's that special flavor and special aroma that you get while you're using it. Now, for some reason, if you didn't have the nutmeg, I know not everybody might have it handy in their kitchen. If you even had the powder of the nutmeg, you could use that. If you didn't have it at all, it's okay. I know it's the flavor is will be a little different, but it's not going to hurt the dish. And as you know me, I like to give you a lot of options, try and make it easy for you, and I let you show you how you can improvise if things happen, things you need to change. All right, I'm going to let it here cook for another probably 6 minutes, and every minute I'll come back and stir it. But again, I have it on medium low, and shortly I'm going to start on our meat. Now we're going to start working on our 1 pound of ground beef. Here I'm adding 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and let me whisk this, our friend over here. I'm going to check them in a minute to see how they are. They've been here for about 7 minutes. I could feel they are thickened, but I don't know if they are ready yet or not. Let's run the test here, the famous bechamel sauce test. And I'm not going to use my finger because it'll hurt. It's hot, and I've seen many chefs burn when they do it. So you gotta go like this. If they don't run over, it's ready. Ta-da! Here's our pound of ground beef. As you know, if you've seen any of my other videos, when I'm using the ground beef, the packages we get have 1 1/3 pound. So this is a little bit more than a pound, but I'm only going to probably use a pound, and if I have left over, I can always turn it into a burger. And if I don't have it left over, it's fine. I'm going to give you the ingredients for what I use for 1 pound. And as you know me, I do not like meat to taste like meat. So first we have 1.5. Again, the ingredients I'm giving you is for 1 pound. So 1.5 teaspoon of salt, and we're going to need 1.5 teaspoon of black pepper. There we go. Very nice. So the next ingredients, if you don't have them or if you don't want to add them, that's up to you. But I'm also going to add, let's see here, a half a teaspoon of cumin. You won't taste the cumin in the sauce or in the lasagna. And I'm also going to do half a teaspoon of allspice. To me, that will get rid of the meaty taste. Again, I'm putting a little more because of the size of the package here. And you want to break it up while it's still before it starts browning, because then it won't break up good for you. So we're going to mix everything together. I know you could mix also the ingredients before, the spices and all that. I just wanted to show you what we're doing here. And I have right now the temperature on medium, and you could this is going to take about 5 minutes or 7 minutes. We want to get rid of the red. That's the purpose here, because they're going to cook with all the beautiful sauces later on with the lasagna. So Here we go. We keep stirring and turning. So again, 5 to 7 minutes is depending on what you have, and then we'll come back. We'll have our lasagna ready, and then we can start assembling. But anyway, we want everything cool, so everything at room temperature after we have it cooked before we assemble, so we can properly assemble. And then we'll talk about the cheeses in a minute as well. All right, we'll be back in a second here. Our meat has been cooking for about 5 minutes, and the meat I'm using is 93.7, so 93 fat free, 7% fat. So if you're using 80/20, you might end up having a lot of fat left in there. Those you need to take them out or drain it, or take out the meat and put it in another bowl. See, mine really mainly just some of the olive oil there. And if you have a little bit, really, once the meat cools off, it's going to suck it anyway. It's going to take it. And in the meantime, our tomato sauce is also ready. They've been simmering for an hour and a half. So let's see how they are. See, look how it's become. It's not liquidy. It's more of a not a paste. Obviously, if we use the immersion blender, they would have become a paste. We want to taste a little bit here. Okay, but it's hot. Let's see. Oh, yum, yum, yum. Oh, this is nice. This is nice. Consistency is excellent. And you see the meat, you know, I wanted to say brown it, but I didn't want to give you the wrong impression. I don't want you to think we're making it like crispy brown, like a burger or something. No, we are browning it. We are cooking it, but we're not overcooking it. So it's still juicy. It just we need to get rid of all the red in the middle. So everything is good there. Okay. Um I'm going to put these in a bowl, all these different ones in a separate bowls, and I'm going to cook the lasagna, and then we can start assembling. And then another exciting part is the cheeses that we're going to have inside the lasagna. And I am adding a cheese in there that you don't have to add, by the way. And we'll talk about it and I will show you. But as you know me, I always like to add special stuff in there, make things extra tasty. All right, see you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Can they see these or no? Um, I wanted to also let you know when you're cooling even if you leave it in its own pan, uh, you need to cover it for the bechamel sauce. And here we have our tomato sauce, and we have our ground beef over here. They all really taste very, very delicious. What I wanted to show you is, in case if you're not buying the pre-grated Parmesan, if you're grating it yourself, you can do it by hand. But if you want to if you have a food processor where you're able to add the disc to grate the cheese, it's really worth it. You'd be surprised how fast things become. The reason I'm moving out of my way, because eventually I'm going to use here. My plan is we will need 2 cups of shredded mozzarella. Those I buy in pre-shredded, because the fresh mozzarella you buy out there, it's hard to shred, and it's really not made for the lasagna. It's good on the pizza, but it's a little different. I mean, as you know, it melts, but it doesn't melt the way we would want the shredded mozzarella to melt. So I'll use 2 cups of those. But my plan is to use um, 1 cup of Parmesan. So I have a couple items here to shred, and I'm going to keep it on in case I need more. And I also want to remind you, when you're buying the fresh Parmesan, you want to, or Parmesan, I'm not, for the pronunciation. Uh, You want to remove the end wax that, like this one, for example, it was here, so I just cut it. But and so, because these are hard, they're like wax here, and if you shred them in here, these things don't melt; they'll shred. So let's start shredding the Parmesan. I'll put them in a bowl, and then I'll shred the also the oh, I haven't told you. This is the special cheese that I wanted to add that I saw. It's Italian cheese. It's made from sheep milk, at least this one. It's called Pecorino Romano, or Romano, I'm sorry, Pecorino Romano. And it's very flavorful. It's a little salty, but it's very close to the uh, Parmesan, but it has a little bit of a different flavor. So I'm kind of using the mixture of both in there, and this was my little special surprise. That yesterday when I was in the store, I decided to pick that up to use it today. But if you don't have that, you don't find it, freshly grated Parmesan will work. And again, the 2 cups of the shredded mozzarella. So let's start here. We're going to use the this. Whoops. Okay, it's ready. That's right here. And then don't forget to use the thingy. Okay, so let's do it. See how everything gets shredded really quickly? Here, let me show you guys real quick. You will get, some little pieces like this at the end. It's okay. You can eat them. But look, it's freshly shredded right there. Yes, you have to clean it, but it's not. Here, let me show you how. Here. Sorry, there you go. See, they're freshly shredded right there. We have about a cup over here. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other cheese. And then I'm going to do get my lasagna or the lasagna boiled a little bit and start assembling. We are ready. See you soon. Our lasagna is ready. I boiled it for 4.5 minutes. The package said 8 minutes. So I put it for 4.5. As I mentioned, I wanted to stay al dente. It's going to cook. And we have our 13 by 9, 9 by 13, deep pan. We're going to put 4 layers of the pasta, and you'll see. At first, what I want to do is I want to start with a little bit of the tomato sauce here. On the bottom, I'm going to put both tomato and the bechamel. So just mainly coating. As you see, it's not like I'm putting a thick layer on the bottom. It's just a very thin layer just to coat it. And then I'm going to add to it the bechamel sauce. I'm going all the way to the edges too. There we go. Start with this here. And there here. I'm going to get, I want to use a spatula for this. There. Oh, there we go. That's much better. Much easier to spread and mix. There. Oh, this really thickened really well. So when it cooks, it's not going to give us any issues. Anyway, so here we go. We're going to start with 3 layers. So we're going to, so there we've put the 3 layers of the we put three of the pastas over here. Now I'm going to put a layer of the tomato and a layer of the bechamel sauce. You're putting about a third each time of the amount of sauce that you have here. There we go. Sure. Okay, so we put the tomato sauce. Now we're going to layer this delicious ground beef. Even though I don't like meat too much, but that's why I have to make it flavorful. But it really tastes good. So now I'm looking forward to eat it with the meat. There we go. Poor camera crew, they get to be vegetarians a lot because of me. But there we go. Okay, this is good. Good, good. All right. Now we're gonna spread this over, and then I'm going to put a layer of cheese in here. There we go. I need a little more. Again, it's about a third of the sauce that we've made. Okay, there we go. And now, let me see which one I want to put. I'll put a little bit of the Parmesan this time on this layer. Uh, I'm kind of covering it, so I've started the oven preheating at 375, and as you see, I'm really very thin layer of the cheese. You're not over cheesing it. And now I'm going to put another layer of our uh, pasta here. Okay, this is nice. Again, this is a 9 by 13 pan. Oh, great, great. I could feel them. They're still al dente. And now I'm going to start with the bechamel sauce. The camera crew suggested I should do that too. It's easier to spread it on top of this, which is true, especially because the pasta is warm and smooth too. Oh, nice. Look at that. Good idea, camera crew. They earned their pay today. You get extra slice. Maybe that's why they suggested they wanted more. Uh, we've tried the cheeses. They're really good. They're amazing flavor. I'm not going. I'm going to show you the whole thing. I'm not going to just stop while I want you to see what we're doing and how we're layering things. Again, the tomato and all the sauces are not thick. They're thin because we're having multiple layers. And now I'm going to put some meat in here, some of the ground beef. It's almost like we're sprinkling it. And I hope you're not getting bored with us doing all this, but I think it's very informative. Even top chefs out there, they start and then they say, yeah, layer the rest of them until they're done. It's like, okay, what happened there? How many layers? We don't know. You just have to guess, a wild guess. And I'm going to put another cheese. I'm going to put the other cheese. The It was made from sheep milk. Another Italian, the other Italian flavor. Oh, this looks nice. It is a little salty, and the camera crew is ready to eat. Okay, so so far we put 2 layers of the pasta. Now we're grabbing, we're going to put one more. Oh, 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 beautiful, beautiful. Okay, and after that will be just one set. Okay, one bechamel coming up. Oh, see, it's exact. The measurements, the ingredients for what we need. And we're going to, again, the oven is at 375. We're going to cover it, making a mess, and covering it, and I'll clean this up here. But we are covering it, just not paying attention, thinking of what I was going to say. And then I ended up dipping my fingers in here and getting the bowl messy a little bit. Thank you. Got a little here paper towels because we don't want this to burn on the outside of the dish that we have here. And now I'm going to put some mozzarella in here, the shredded mozzarella that we have. Again, we have about 2 cups. Hey, why are you here? You should be over there. Good help. Hard to find these days. um, but now we're going to put some of the tomato sauce in here. I'm going to put half of what I have on top of the cheese because I want to put a little bit on top as well. There. Okay, I like that. I like that. Yeah, I'll have some, like I mentioned, really, this is for 1 pound of ground beef. I will have a little bit left. I guess I just thought about it. You can't make it into a burger, but you can make it into like a sloppy Joe. Put some, make some juicy sauce and dip it with it, or you can have it as as a taco, soft taco. Make one of my tortillas, and those will be good. Yum yum yum. See, not too much meat. There. Okay. Last set of the pasta, and then we are ready to assemble. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do here, we are putting the rest of the bechamel up here, and then the tomato sauce. I know you can also mix all these together, like the tomato and the bechamel sauce together, and then put them in here. I like to put them separate. You can also mix the tomato sauce with the ground beef and put it in here. I think this is a better way. Uh, okay, very, very nice. This is going to be wonderful and tasty. Want to make sure all the 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 pasta is covered. Excellent, excellent. And now we will put the rest of the tomato sauce here. I'm not going to put ground beef on top. I think it'll be a little bit too much ground beef uh, for me. We put 3 layers of ground beef already, so I like that better. There we go. Nice. Uh, so there. Now I'm going to put the rest of all the cheeses up here. Um, ho, 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 ho. There. Again, 2 cups of the or or a bag of 8 ounce. I'll see later if I need to put more after they're done, but I think they're good. Uh, this is the Parmesan. uh, we're laughing there. The the camera crew is sneaking tasty stuff over there. Find some plates that has leftover, and then they attack them. I'm telling on them. See, let me tell you, they're behind the scenes, but they can eat all they want. This is what it is for. There we go. And then the last one. Oh, this is going to be delicious with all these three cheeses on top and the double sauces. Yum, 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 yum. Okay, it's ready to bake. What we're going to do is we're going to cover it with aluminum foil and bake it on the middle rack for a half hour, and then we uncover it and bake it for another 10 to 15 minutes. We'll set the timer for 10. We'll see if it needs to be browned a little bit more. Then we'll add in another 5. Or if we want to add a little bit more cheese at the last 5 minutes, uh, we can do that. Here we go. Excuse me. There, it has space for the cheese not to get stuck to the aluminum foil and everything. So here we go. We'll open the oven, move the rack out. Look at that. Can you see it? Nice, nice. Okay, there. Ready to move in. Okay, we'll come back in 30 minutes and show you what we're going to do. All right. Bye-bye. It's been 30 minutes. So let's see here. We have to uncover. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It doesn't need any more cheese. It's really good. Now I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes, and then I am going to check it if it needs 5 more, because it's usually 45 minutes total for cooking. But there, that looks nice. There we go. All right. Thank you. All right. See you soon. It's been 10 minutes. I purposely wanted to show you what's. So this is the only way so you can learn and practice. Look, it looks very, very nice. And honestly, trying to think, okay, do I want to do 5 more or do I want to keep it as is? I know the edges are already browned up. And do we want it a little bit more browned up on top? Okay, let's do 5 more minutes. Again, it's because each oven is different. The normal cook time is 45 total. But I wanted to show you so you can do the same thing. And obviously, you can look at it through it. You could look like this. Oh, okay, I want it a little more. We'll do 5 more minutes, and then we'll come back. See you soon. All right, we put it 5 more minutes. And under popular demand from the cooking crew, we put it 1 minute on broil. I didn't move the shelf up or anything, just added a minute to the broil. It made it very crispy on top. Very nice and crispy. Look at that beautiful. Look at that beautiful lasagna. We're not going to dig into it. I want to wait 15 minutes before we cut into it because We try to dig into it right now. It's just going to all fall apart. Um, and I didn't add any butter or anything, but I could see the like almost a little extra buttery on top that's melted. It's from the cheese and possibly that extra that extra creamy heavy whipping cream thingy. But I'm sure it's really good. But it looks beautiful and it smells amazing uh, in the kitchen here. It's you think it just lasagna pasta, but it's a different smell than just if you're cooking macaroni or any kind of other pasta. And also I think using those fresh ingredients with the fresh herbs makes a big difference as well. All right, we'll come back in about 15 minutes. We'll cut into it and we'll try to taste it together. I know it's still going to be very hot, but we'll work on that. See you shortly. It's been 15 minutes. This is warm to the touch, so it's good. And as you could see, we're going to cut through it and take a piece out to try to eat together. Oh, look at that sauce. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. Okay. All right, let's see here. Take a small piece. Look at that. Mm. Oh, this is wonderful. Here we go. I'll turn it from this side. You could see the layers. I know from that one it kind of caved in at the beginning, but you could see the layers here. And we'll go over there, try a little piece, and see if it meets our approval for cooking today. But it smells amazing. You have to be here to really smell the aroma. I could see here. Look at the beef pieces here. The tomatoes. Oh, ho, 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 ho. All right. Uh, I'm moving slower on it. I'm more just in case it's really hot. I purposely was putting those pieces on top. Whoops. We are going to have a wonderful dinner this evening. It's amazing. Uh, Honestly, you taste everything as one. It's just a beautiful flavor. It's a wonderful flavor. Uh, I wish everybody was here and join us and try to take a bite of what we've done tonight. Uh, but honestly, this is it's 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 wonderful. Here, would you like to try a small piece? All right, we'll give also some to the camera crew here. Now here. Whoops. Hold on. We'll bring them all together for you. And I really appreciate your watching my videos, giving me your suggestions, and don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends, have them subscribe, have them follow me as well. That way, they can give me ideas of things that maybe they want uh, cooked and to be done. And honestly, for the lasagna, I've been getting requests for it. I just haven't had the time. I've had on my schedule other dishes and desserts, and even I have a major dessert about to be posted in a couple days. It's a Middle Eastern dessert that I've done that I haven't posted yet, but it's going to be a wonderful dessert as well. But again, really, honestly, I'm not just saying this, this is so tasty. So, even how long did I taste it? Like 2, 3 minutes ago, I could still taste everything. And as I mentioned, I don't like meat to taste like meat. There's the flavor there, there's the meat there, but you don't taste a meaty flavor or like a eggy type of a thing. Again, thank you for joining me. Really appreciate it. We'll talk soon. You take care. Bye bye.